Hey everyone on YouTube and possibly from Hackaday. Just here to give a couple or a little rundown of some things I've discovered from these little magnetic spheres. The ring idea was mentioned on Hackaday, where if you create rings of balls, you can end up with basic structures. Here's an example. If you notice, there's a pentagon right there, using a ring of 5. A couple of these snapped together will give you, a very decently structurally sound shape. Same basic concept without the second ring wrapped around it. As you can see, this one's made up from rings of 3, 4, and 5. Pretty good example to show you how that ring idea comes into play. From what I've noticed, the only rings that really tend to do anything are the ones that are 4, 5, and 6 in length, and sometimes 3 in certain scenarios. Some smaller structures that you can get are, here's a basic one. Another basic one that's similar. One that many of these things actually come in, just a square, one made of 4. Here's an interesting one. This one was originally made with a series of triangles snapped together. It's really hard to get this particular one to come back, but if you notice, there's a ring of 4 there, and rings of 3 around it. What you end up with is cubic in nature almost, but not quite. It's a little strange. And one particularly interesting one is a ring of 4. I was not previously aware that you could do this. I accidentally came across it. But what's interesting about it is this connects very well to a hexagonal pattern, despite being a ring of 4. The reason for this is that once you wrap 8 around it, you end up with 4 corners. Using some lowest common denominators and such, you can end up calculating that these 4 points connect easily to the ring of 12 around here, which connects easily to the hexagonal pattern, what with 6 and 12 working well together. This is pretty nice because it gives you a nice cone structure. So if you're doing some architectural stuff and you want to cap off a cone, let's say you're making a castle, that would be really, really useful. There it is again for you guys, so you can see it. You end up with 8 as the second ring. So what ends up happening on all of these is everything works in basic multiplication. For the rings of 5, you end up with 10 wrapped around it. For rings of 6, you end up with 12 wrapped around it. Rings of 4, you end up with 8. It seems pretty simple. But using some basic math, creating more interesting structures is not too difficult. And here's the clump for you guys.